Hey, what's going on, family? This is Andy Henriquez, and of course, I want to welcome you to the Thursday night show up for your life motivational live stream. This is where you come each and every week in order to get that midweek pick me up. And let me tell you something right now. This message is specifically for you. Like, if you are in the process right now of pursuing a dream, you're in the process right now of pursuing a goal, and along your journey, you've been experiencing some frustration. Along your journey, you've encountered some disappointments, and along your journey, you've actually considered throwing in the towel. Like, if you have actually thought about throwing in the towel, now listen, you don't have to admit it to anybody, but if you know in your heart you've considered throwing in the towel, you've been frustrated because when you look at the results, it's not necessarily what you thought would happen up at this point of your journey of pursuing your goals and your dreams. Let me tell you, the message that I have tonight is specifically for you. So just sit tight. Don't go anywhere. This message is specifically for you. So do me a favor. As you're jumping in right now, put in your city and your state so I could go ahead and give you a quick shout out. Hey, Frank, how you doing? Hey, as you tune in, put in your city and your state so I could go ahead and give you a quick shout out as you join me. Once again, tonight's message is specifically for those of you, listen, if right now you're in the process of pursuing a dream, I mean, you've got a vision, you've got a goal, something that you're hoping to make happen, and along the process, you've been feeling a little bit disappointed. Along the process, you've been feeling frustrated because you haven't quite produced the results that you wanted to. I mean, your bank account doesn't look the way that you wanted to. The revenue doesn't look the way that you wanted to. Maybe the amount of leads and the amount of contacts that you have is not looking the way that you want to. Your position at your company is not exactly where you want it to be. I mean, you're in the process of making something happen, but when you look at the circumstances and when you look at the results, it's not quite adding up. And because of that, you're feeling the frustration. I tell you right now, I believe frustration oftentimes comes as a result of there being a disparity, a gap between the things that we want and the things that are currently happening in our lives. So whenever we're in the process of pursuing something, but our circumstances and our results is not in the perfect alignment with the thing that we desire, that is where frustration begins to settle in. And so I don't know about you, but that is definitely when I get frustrated, right? When I have something in mind, something that I want to make happen, and I'm exerting time, I'm exerting effort, I'm exerting energy, I'm exerting resources, and I'm not producing the results. Hopefully, I am not the only one who's ever experienced that level of frustration. If you have, let me tell you, you're in the right place because I'm going to let you in on a wonderful secret. I'm going to let you in on something that's going to potentially be a game changer for you. And so the message tonight is that you are closer than you think. Listen, I can't emphasize that enough. You are closer than you think. And I know what you're thinking, but wait a second, Andy, you don't understand. I've been at this now for a couple of years and it's still not happening for me. I still haven't produced the results. That's okay. Listen, you're closer than you think. I know what you're thinking, but wait a second, Andy, I've been spending all this money on getting coaching and all these different resources. And if I have to spend any more money without getting the results that I want in my business, I don't know if this is going to be sustainable. I'm telling you, stay in the game. You're closer than you think. But you're saying, but Andy, you don't understand. I mean, it's just been forever. I've been out here in the market. I've been trying to find somebody to date. There's just no good women out there. There's just no good men out there. I don't know if I'm going to ever be in a happy, fulfilling relationship. Listen to me. You are closer than you think. You're closer than you think. So just stay in the game, baby. Stay in the game. I got something to share with you. So let me give a quick shout out to a couple people. Hey, Frank. Hey, Darren. Hey, Sophia. Hey, Susan. Hey, Ron. Good to see all of you. I appreciate all of you for tuning in. And as you're jumping in right now, once again, tonight's message is called You're Closer Than You Think. And this is specifically for those of you that you have a dream, but not just any kind of dream. Like you have a big dream. You have a vision, not just any kind of vision. You've got a big vision. I mean, the kind that takes a while, right? Not something that you can just knock out in an hour, not something that you can just do in a day. I mean, the kind of thing that takes sometimes a year and multiple years for you to fulfill. It might even take 5, 10 years. I don't know what the timeline is for you. All I know is that whenever you have a big dream, whenever you have a big vision, and you begin to do the work, somewhere along the process, if your dream is big enough and if your vision is big enough, you are going to encounter some frustration. In other words, you're going to get to the point where when you look at the results, maybe perhaps you look at your bank account, you look at the amount of clients that you have, you look at your revenue, you look at what you're getting paid, you're looking at, your sphere of influence, whatever it is that you're hoping to make increase and improve. Sometimes when we go along the journey and we look at the results, we get frustrated because at the end of the day, it just doesn't quite look the way that we thought it was going to look. It ends up being way more money, way more energy, and a whole lot of frustration and tears in the process. And if you know what I'm talking about, just do me a favor right now in the comment section, say, Andy, I know. Andy, I know. Just put that in the comment. Like if you've ever experienced some frustration in your journey, if you've ever thought about throwing in the towel, like if you're brave enough to admit that you've thought about throwing in the towel, put Andy, I know. Like that's your way of letting me know that you can feel a brother's pain up in here. Like you know what it's like to have a big dream, a big vision, and a big goal, and then find yourself feeling really, really, really frustrated because you're not quite producing the results that you want. That's right. Kimberly said, I know. Frank said, I know. Right? Sophia said, Andy, I know. Absolutely. It happens to the absolute best of us. But here's what I've come to realize. There's a pattern that I've began to see in life. And here's how the pattern goes. Oftentimes, when you're in the process of going after your goals and going after your dream and going after your vision, what I find oftentimes is the moment that you are the most frustrated, the moment that you are considering throwing in the towel, the moment when you have pretty much exhausted all of your resources, the moment when you are now having primarily negative conversations in your mind about your business, about your career, about your finances, about your relationships. Like the moment that you're feeling the most frustrated, the moment that you're feeling the most down, the moment that your resources are depleted and your energy is depleted, what I find is that is often the moment that you are closest to experiencing a breakthrough. That is often the moment that you are closest to getting to the other side. Listen, for those of you who are entrepreneurs, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about right now. And even if you're not an entrepreneur, you could probably relate to this in one way or another. And what I've come to realize is that, for me as an entrepreneur, there are certain times that I set out to accomplish a goal, and then I will hit that goal, and then I want to get to another threshold. But then I end up getting really, really frustrated because I feel as if I've hit a wall. And I don't know if you've ever hit a wall. If you've ever hit a wall, like in your business, you've ever hit a wall in your finances. For those of you who have ever tried to lose weight, I don't know if you've ever hit a wall. Like your goal is to like lose 30 pounds, and every single time you can get to the 15 pounds, but you can't lose 1 pound beyond that. For those of you who are entrepreneurs, maybe your goal is to make 200,000 and you keep hitting a wall and you can only do like 150,000, and you can do 150,000 consistently, but you keep hitting the wall and you're trying to scale up to 300,000 or maybe get to 500,000. And so I can remember specifically being at a place in my business where I had hit a wall. And so I had cracked the 6-figure mark, but now I was trying to get to another threshold. And I was starting to get really frustrated. And the reason why I was getting frustrated is because I was hiring coaches. The reason why I was getting frustrated, I was paying for coaches, I was buying new systems, I was getting new software, and I was doing many of the things that I was told to do. Any kind of software that was being recommended to me, technology that was being recommended to me, I was going out and purchasing and buying those things. So meanwhile, every single month, my expenses were going up because, buying a software that costs $300 here, $100 here, $200 here, $300 here, that starts bringing up your monthly expenses. And on top of that, now I'm paying for coaching. And so I'm hiring some people and I'm doing VIP days, and VIP days, sometimes are costing as much as $10,000, $15,000, $12,000 for me to get coaching. Then I'm bringing on coaches that I'm paying every single month. I'm paying them between $1,500 to $3,000 a month. And so all this frustration is starting to come in. And then I had gotten to a point where before I knew it, I went a period of 8 months and I was spending so much money on getting new software, on doing Facebook ads, on paying for coaches, on paying for strategy sessions, that when I looked at my business account, it was at the lowest that I had ever been. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I've been an entrepreneur for a very long time. I left my corporate job in December of 2004. So just do the math. I mean, I've been an entrepreneur now for over 14 years. All right. So I'm telling you that in like a 5-year period, when I looked at my bank account for my business account, it had been at perhaps the lowest amount that it's ever been, because I was pumping out all of these additional expenses, but I was not necessarily bringing in the additional revenue to justify the way that my expenses were going up, because I was attempting to go all in. And so I remember being very frustrated. I remember at one point, like, my wife was sitting down and I came to her and I said, look, and I opened up my business account. I said, do you see this? I said, man, this is scary. Like, this is the lowest that my business account has ever been. And let me tell you right now, like, it took a lot for me to not focus on the circumstances and not to just focus on the account and just continue to lean in and continue to get the investing and continue to pay for the coaching, continue to keep these services on. And then what ended up happening was I decided to do a complete change in my business model. And I decided I was going to launch a completely new training out to some people. And so I formulated and came up with this training. And guess what? I rolled out the training and I offered it to my customers and my clients and my prospects. And I completely bombed. Like, nobody signed up for that coaching program. Nobody signed up for the training. And so not only is my bank account like at the lowest it's ever been, I come up with this amazing idea that I'm pumping out, and I just paid a coach to help me to map this thing out. And then I pitch it and I put it out there, and like, nobody's signing up. Like, this is like not looking good every which way that you look at it. And so I remember being super frustrated. And then I just remember saying to myself, you know what, Andy, just stay in the game. Stay in the game, my man. Stay in the game. Figure out whatever adjustments that you got to make and stay in the game. And here's what I want you to understand. Oftentimes, when you're feeling that frustration, oftentimes when you're not necessarily producing the results that you want, like when you are trying to grow that direct sales business, or you're trying to grow your individual business, and you're trying to get to like that next income bracket in your business, or you're working your way up the corporate ladder and you're trying to get yourself in position for that next promotion, or you're trying to lose the weight, or you're trying to get out of debt, or you're trying to get that nonprofit to make more impact and do some things at a higher level. Like, I'm telling you right now that oftentimes when you're feeling the most frustrated, it is nothing more than just a few simple adjustments that you need to make that's going to allow you to just experience a complete breakthrough. You know, it's funny because my wife and I, we were at a conference a couple of months ago, and at the conference, they had a golf academy. Now, I don't know if any of you play golf, but my wife and I, you know, I go to the driving range every once in a while, but I'm not really a true golf player. So my wife and I did a golf academy. It's sort of like a golf 3-day training course. And while my wife and I were in this golf academy, as we were working on our golf swings, it was amazing how all we did was just change just slightly sometimes our grip. All we did was change just a little bit what we were doing on our backswing. All we did was change just slightly the way we were holding our arms and the way that we twisted our legs. And just those minor, teeny adjustments made huge, huge differences when we were hitting the ball. And so what I want you to understand is this. A lot of times when you're feeling frustrated, you think it's going to be like something really, really big that needs to shift. But you'll be surprised that it's nothing more than a very simple adjustment. And so I went back and I looked at this new training program and course that I was rolling out. And I decided to just simplify it. I didn't really add anything to it. I just simplified it. As a matter of fact, I took some things out to really simplify it. I made a minor adjustments, no additional work, just some minor adjustments. And let me tell you something, I decided to go ahead and roll out this amazing training that I had, and it was absolutely a game changer. Like everything shifted. And in a matter of like a 3-month period between the adjustments that I made in my business model, between some new coaching clients that I picked up, and also with some new corporations that I picked up for keynotes and some presentations that I was going to be giving out, trainings that I was going to be doing in keynote presentations. I know this sounds insane, but literally in a 3-month period, I watched my business income basically double. And so in a 3-month period, I brought in literally multiple 6 figures into my business over a period of just simply 3 months. Now, I'm telling you right now, I'm sharing that with you not to impress you, okay? But like one of my mentors would say, to simply impress upon you that I want you to think about the timing in which that happened. Like that happened like at the moment that my bank account was at the lowest that I had ever been. That happened at the moment that I was experiencing deep frustration. That happened at a moment where I was really second guessing some of the things that I had going on. And what I want you to understand right now is if you are even remotely frustrated, like you're in the process of pursuing a dream, you're in the process of going after your goals, going after your vision, and if you are even remotely frustrated because you're not producing the results that you want, because you're not necessarily hitting the income level that you want, because you're not getting the amount of leads that you want, because you're not necessarily at the weight that you want, because you haven't gotten rid of the debt that you wanted to get rid of, because you're not in the relationship that you want, I want you to just simply understand this, that you are closer than you think. And so what you have to be willing to do is you got to be willing to stay in the game. Do me a favor right now in the comment section, put hashtag stay in the game, stay in the game, put hashtag stay in the game. Let me tell you right now, I cannot emphasize to you enough that one of the key principles to you winning, one of the key principles to you creating a shift in your business, creating a shift in your finances, creating a shift in your relationship, creating a shift in your weight, in your health, is you simply staying in the game. Most people are not willing to stay in the game. Most people throw in the towel just before they experience the breakthrough. Most people throw in the towel like they give up right before they land the monster client. Like they give up right before they figure things out. And I'm telling you right now, if you could just simply stay in the game, if you could just be willing to stay in the game and keep making those phone calls to those prospects, if you could just stay in the game and keep implementing those systems, those policies and procedures, if you could stay in the game and keep promoting your products and your services, if you could stay in the game and keep getting out there and staying on those online dating sites and going out there on another date, another coffee date. I know you're ready to throw in the towel, but if you could stay in the game and keep showing up to that gym, I'm telling you, you will experience a breakthrough. And oftentimes we throw in the towel right before the breakthrough. And so do me a favor right now, go ahead and hit the share button, because I know that there's somebody that you're connected to that's going to be able to benefit from this message. Listen, this is something that's ingrained in my mind, and it's something that we encounter all the time. Like, I don't know about you, but, you know, living here in South Florida, it's not uncommon, and I believe this is just about anywhere, that it's not uncommon that when you go to major intersections in downtown areas and even in non-downtown areas, you'll find people who are homeless, who are standing at the intersections, who are basically soliciting and asking people to give them donations. You see that all the time. It doesn't matter if you're in any major city or even not a major city. You've probably been at an intersection before. You've seen somebody holding a sign that says, hungry, veteran, you know, please help, please give money, need food, or whatever it might be. And so I'm going to be honest with you. I pretty much wait to see what rests on my heart before I give. Sometimes I'll see somebody and I'm moved to give. Sometimes I'm not moved to give, right? And I remember one particular time I was at an intersection and I saw a gentleman who, it was really, really hot. You got to get this. It's hot in South Florida. So I saw this guy. It was really, really hot outside. I saw him holding a sign, and he had a sign that says, please help me. And I was probably car number 8 in the intersection. So there's probably about 7 more cars ahead of me. And I saw this guy holding the sign, and he was making his way down. And so he went by the first car, and nobody gave him. He went by the second car. Nobody gave him anything. He went by the 4th car, and nobody gave him anything. And as he was making his way down, I reached into my pocket because at that point I made a decision I wanted to give him something. And so I reached into my pocket, and as I was reaching down into my pocket, I realized that the only thing I had was a $20 bill. So I had a $20 bill on me. That was the only thing that I had. And so I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and give him this $20 bill. And so I see this guy coming down. And so now he's made his way. He's past the first car, past the second car, past the 4th car. And now he's probably about 3 vehicles away from me. And then this guy out of nowhere just stops. Not only does he stop, but then he starts walking back to the front of the intersection. Now, I have no idea why he's walking back because I didn't hear anybody honk their horn, and none of those vehicles gave him anything because I was watching and observing, and that's why I dug in my pocket. I said, let me pull out this money, and I found out I had a $20 bill, right? So I pull out this $20 bill, and I'm waiting for this guy, and then he just stops dead in his track, and then not only does he stop, but he just makes his way back, and I'm trying to figure out, well, okay, maybe somebody called him and I didn't see it. And he actually goes back to the front of the intersection, and then he sits down. And when I put my window down so I could finally reach out to him, right, because I was first watching, why is this guy going back? Then the light changes, and I end up having to pull off at the intersection. And I remember getting to my destination, and I walked into a coffee shop, and I pulled out the $20 bill. And I said to myself, dang, I'm not even supposed to have this $20 bill because I was supposed to give this $20 bill to the guy who was at the intersection, but he stopped right before he made it to my vehicle. Now, here's what I realized. He didn't even know that there was a blessing waiting for him. And it made me think about, and I started thinking about myself. I said, you know what? It was easy for me to observe it because I was holding his blessing. Like I had his $20 in my hand, right? So it was easy for me to just see how close he was to getting the blessing. But I wondered to myself, I said, how many times have I been like this close to a blessing, like this close to a breakthrough, this close to breaking through a threshold, this close to landing the next client, like this close to producing the results that I really, really wanted. And then actually I decided to just stop doing what I was previously doing that would have allowed me to produce the result. And so I'm just wondering right now, like, what is it that you're currently doing that if you could just stay in the game, like if you could just keep your head down, like if you could just keep making the phone calls, if you could just keep putting in the work, if you could just keep investing in yourself, if you could just keep going out on those dates, if you could just keep working out, if you could just keep working on trying to get rid of that debt. Like, I just wonder, like, how close are you really to a breakthrough and not even know it? I just wonder, like what little tweak is it that you're going to do in your business that is going to just completely just not just allow you to increase your income, but allow you to double your income? Like are you possibly just like 3 dates away from finding like your husband or your wife? Like, are you just like 20 more phone calls away from like landing that really, really big client? Like, how close are you to the blessing? Like, how close are you to the breakthrough? And I'm telling you right now that one of the clear signs that you're close is when you're frustrated. One of the clear signs that you're close is, let me tell you something, when all hell is breaking loose. When all hell is breaking loose, let me tell you right now, you are close to something changing. Listen, that's why Winston Churchill said, when you're going through hell, keep going. Keep going. Because let me tell you right now, whenever you're going through hell, like in a relationship, you're going through hell with your finances, you're going through hell in your business, that is normally telltale sign that there is something amazing that is lying on the other end. Like something is going to happen. Like if you have ever like stuck with something and pushed through a difficult moment, like if you've ever stuck with something and it actually like made it through to the other end and it paid off big time, like if that has ever happened to you, put the number one in the comments below. Because I just want to prove to you that it's not just me. Like somebody else here has gone through something really, really difficult, and then you were willing to stay in the game. And because of the fact that you were willing to stay in the game, like you broke through. Like you actually broke through. And I know that some of you are wondering, like, you know, like that's right. Susan said that that's happened to her. So I know some of you are wondering, well, how long do you stick in the game? Like, how long do you stay in the game? Like, how long do you keep going? And I say, if whatever it is that you're pursuing means enough to you, if whatever it is that you're pursuing, the dream is big, the vision is big, and it means enough to you, then you stay in the game as long as it takes. And so if that means 1 year, then it's 1 year. If it means 5 years, then it's 5 years. It means 10 years, it's 10 years. Let me let you in on a little secret. Most overnight success take 15 years. Make no doubt about it. You know that overnight success, that singer that you are saying is an overnight success, do you know that they've been doing little gigs and working on their craft and singing in their local church choir and singing and at local gigs and singing at schools for free and singing and talent shows and doing all kind of singing. And they've been at it for 15 years, but you never saw them doing the work. And now you want to dismiss what they're doing, talking about their overnight success. Like that speaker that you're saying is an overnight success, like you weren't there when they were speaking in the elementary schools. You weren't there when they were speaking in the high schools. Like you weren't there when they were practicing in their backyard and speaking to the trees in their backyard and acting like the trees were the audience. Like you weren't there when they were going to free speaking engagements at their local chamber of commerce and speaking for free at all types of places. Like you were never there. And so, of course, you're going to look on now because you hear that they're doing these, you know, keynotes and getting paid over $15,000 for a keynote and doing events and doing 6 figures at events and so forth. And now you're like, ooh, they just blew up. No, they didn't blow up. They didn't blow up. You just weren't there. You just didn't see it. And so what I'm trying to tell you right now is that whatever it is that you're going after, just have it clear in your mind that, listen, you haven't even been in the game. First of all, whatever it is that you're doing, you're not even in the game till you pass the 5-year threshold. Like if you haven't even been at it for 5 years, you're not even in the game. Like you haven't even gotten into the arena until you've put in 5 years, right? And not only that, now after the 5 years, all you did was get your ticket into the arena. Now, if you want to get to the point where you actually start making a mark, now you got to get to the part where you've really, really become an expert and you begin to master your craft. That's going to take you another 5 years. So now you're 10 years in the game to just be at a level of expertise that separates you from the common man or woman, right? And now that you have some level of excellence, that's just the excellence. But you know what the formula for success is? I want you to write this down. Success equals excellence plus exposure. Listen, the people that you're saying is an overnight success, they've been working for years on developing the excellence. They've been working on years on developing the craft. They've been working on years on their innovation, on their creativity, on their ability to speak, on their ability to coach, on their voice. They've been working for years on that. The only thing, the reason why you think they're overnight success is because the excellence that they have is now getting exposure. That's what success is. It's when excellence actually gets exposed. And so what's happening is sometimes you got to be willing to stay in the lab and continue to develop your excellence until you get the exposure that's going to allow you to produce the results that you want. And what I want you to get is all the while when you're thinking about throwing in the towel, all the while when you're second guessing yourself, all the while when you're wondering if it's worth it, I want to let you know is that you are closer than you think. You get that? You are closer than you think. And so you got to keep pushing forward, right? Do me a favor, put hashtag forward, because that's the only direction I want you to go. Like don't backtrack. Don't start talking yourself out of it. Don't convince yourself that you can't get your business to that level, that you can't get the promotion, that you can't lose the weight, that you can't get out of debt. Listen, I know you've been at it. I know you're frustrated, but what I want you to understand is you got to keep moving forward. And it's just like I think it was John C. Maxwell wrote the book. You got to fail your way forward at times. And so understand this, that guess what? Even when you're going forward, you may encounter some difficulties. You may experience some failures. You may experience some setbacks, but every time you fall forward because you're pushing towards the mark. But what I want to get you to understand is that here's what they don't tell you. And that's why I want to let you in on the secret, because this is something they don't tell you. Do me a favor. If you're getting value from this, hit the share button. Hit it right now. Here's what they don't tell you. And I'm going to let you in on this secret. And I've been telling it to you over and over again, but I'm going to tell it to you one more time. They don't tell you this. You're closer than you think. And so unfortunately, nobody's going to come and wave a little crystal ball in front of you. And none of us get to know exactly how close we are. But I'm telling you, you're closer than you think. And so what I'm saying is, if you think it's going to take 10 years, I'm telling you, it may just take you 7. Like if you think it's going to take you 5 years, I'm telling you, if you could stay in the game, it may just take you 3. I'm telling you that if you've been in the game now and you feel like you think that you're nowhere close to the finish line, I'm saying that if you stay in the game, if you continue to put in the work, before you know it, you'll find the finish line in sight. And all of a sudden now you'll develop a level of momentum that you've never experienced before. But the fastest way to sabotage yourself is to stop before you get there. It's to talk yourself out of it. It's to convince yourself somehow, some way that it's not going to happen. And what I want you to get you to understand is that, listen, nobody said it was going to be easy. Like nobody said that going after your goals and your dreams was going to be easy. Nobody said living out your purpose was going to be easy. Nobody said that writing the book was going to be easy. Nobody said that you running and growing a 6-figure business was going to be easy. Nobody said that you becoming a coach, a speaker, whatever it is that you want to do is going to be easy. Nobody said that losing the weight was going to be easy. And nobody said that being in a happy, fulfilling relationship was going to be easy. Nobody said getting out of debt was going to be easy. None of those things has the word easy next to it. Nobody said it was going to be easy. But what I will tell you is that you can do it. What I will tell you is that you are so much closer than what you can even think and what you could even imagine. And what I will tell you is that if you could just simply stay in the game and continue to grind it out, things will begin to happen. You know, back in 2011, you know, Forbes magazine, I believe it was, released a list. And in the list, they included the people who had generated the most amount of money in entertainment that year. And you got to correct me if I'm wrong. You could go ahead and Google it and look it up. But in 2011, I believe the year was, the highest paid man in entertainment was Tyler Perry. Those of you who don't know who Tyler Perry is, he's an actor, he's a film writer, he's a producer, director. Okay? And so, but the thing is, I want you to get this, is that most people don't know that I think it was back in 1992 when Tyler Perry had saved up the money from his tax returns and he decided to put out a play called I Know I've Been Changed. And when he put out that play, they were expecting to receive hundreds of people. And the very first time he put out the play, it was an epic fail. About 30 people showed up. And his mother, his friends, and his family members were like, dude, that was an epic failure. Go back and get a job. And so what he did was he scraped up money again. And he put the play on again the second year. And the second year, it was an epic failure. Did not work. Nobody showed up to the play again. Third year, he scraped up his money, decided to put on the play again. Once again, nobody showed up to the play. Fourth year, he's struggling now. He's living out of his car. Tyler Perry is a big dude. The dude's over like 6 foot. I think the guy's like 6'5". At the time, he had a Geo Metro. I don't know if you know what a Geo Metro is, but trust me, a Geo Metro is one very small vehicle. And so Tyler Perry is sleeping in his Geo Metro, still saving up, scraping up money, trying to make his dream come to life. And so now here he is in the fifth year. He puts on the play again. The play fails, an epic failure. People are looking at him like, dude, get a life. Dude, go get a job, man. This thing's not going to happen. Dude, you're holding on to a pipe dream. And so he decides the sixth year, he does it again. Failure again. Do you hear this? Failure after year one. Failure after year two. Failure after year three. Failure after year four. Failure after year five. Failure after year six. And it's not until the seventh year, Tyler Perry scrapes up everything that he has. And once again, he decides to put on the play. And this time, people actually show up. They actually show up. 7 years of putting it all on the line. 7 years of failure. And then he starts to see the light. And he decides he's going all in. And it's only just a few short years after those 7 years went by. It's 2011. And if my memory serves me well, in 1 year, Tyler Perry did over $100 million between all of his plays and his movies and his merchandise and everything that he had going on. Because if you know Tyler Perry, it's always Tyler Perry Presents. He ran everything, right? He was the director, producer, writer, everything. And most people would look at that and say, whoa, this guy came out of nowhere. He's an overnight success. Really? Is that what you call an overnight success? Like, get out of here. And so what I want you to understand is this. Like, keep doing the work so that somebody looks at you after you've been putting in the time, putting in the effort. You've been at this thing now for years. You've been working on your craft. You've been investing in yourself. You've been making the phone calls, dealing with rejection, making the adjustments. Let them look at you and say, man, he or she is an overnight success, so that you can laugh at them and say, yeah, right, overnight success. And what I want to tell you right now is this. I told you this at the beginning. I just need you to remember one thing from this message, and that is that you're closer than you think. And oftentimes when you are wanting to throw in the towel and when you're thinking that things are not going to work out for you, that is the time for you to stay in the game. That's the time for you to do as Sheryl Sandberg would say and lean in. That's the time for you to do what, Steve Harvey would say and jump, but jump 100%. Like, that's the time that you do it. Like when you're most frustrated, when it doesn't look like it's going to work out, because that's the time that you're going to experience the breakthrough. Every breakdown prepares you for the breakthrough. The breakthrough always comes after the breakdown, right? It's just like Willie Jolly says, that every setback is only a setup for a comeback. The comeback happens only after you've experienced the setback. And so trust and believe that whatever it is that you're working on right now, whatever it is that you want to make happen, this is in fact your time. But I need you to get this. You are absolutely closer than you think, and just continue to push forward. Listen, I want to give you something real quick before you head out. I want you to do this real quickly if you haven't already done so. Many of you have, but if you haven't, I want to give you a free video training. I have a video training in which I share with you. I'm typing this in right now because I want to make sure you get this. I have a video training in which I share with you how you can leverage your own stories. You'll notice that a lot of times when I'm sharing these messages with you, to really deliver and drive the points that I'm making, I use stories. And I believe that regardless of what it is that you do, whether you are a leader in a corporate setting, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are a speaker, a coach, and a thought leader, I honestly can't think of one profession or one thing that you do that you wouldn't be able to benefit by becoming a better communicator. And not just a better communicator, but being a better storyteller. Like being able to share stories that allow you to connect with people, being able to share stories that allow you to get people to take action, being able to share stories that help you to increase conversion on your sales and on your offers. And so I would absolutely, I want to make sure you get it, you take advantage of a resource. And then for those of you who have actually considered working with me, I want to tell you about something really special coming up. So first of all, I want you to take advantage of a free resource. And it's really, really simple. You're going to just, if you haven't already done so, you're going to text the word show up to 954-278-3701. And remember, if you have an iPhone, it's going to automatically try to put a space between the word show and up. Remove the space. It's all connected, one word. Text the word show up to 954-278-3701. But let me speak to those of you who maybe you've been tuning in, you've been listening in to some of my messages. You might even be on my email list. You get my emails. You've checked out some of my videos. You have maybe even been sitting in the audience when I was delivering a keynote message. And you know what? You maybe have seen some of the videos from my 3-day training that I do in South Florida called my Master Storyteller Academy. And maybe you've considered, you say, you know what, one day I would love to work with this guy, Andy. I would love to learn how to be able to leverage my own story so that I can better connect with people, so that I can be able to share a message that allows me to attract my ideal customer and my ideal clients, so that I can actually be able to increase my conversion and close more people to my products and my services. Let me tell you something. You have one more opportunity before this year ends to join me for my transformational 3-day training. Like, I'm telling you, we have video upon video upon video of testimonies from people who've come out to the training whose businesses have been completely transformed. I mean, there are people who've come to the training and they've learned how to leverage their stories. And the next time they got out there and they made their offers, they were able to go from not converting to making tens of thousands of dollars and even over 6 figures with their offers, because now they knew how to incorporate a great story to get people to take action. There are people who were always afraid of speaking in front of people, and they came out to the Master Storyteller Academy, and because we're able to help them to craft their story, that now they got confidence at a level that they've never had before. And now they feel confident to get in front of audiences to talk about their products and their services. There are people who were already out there speaking in front of people, but they weren't necessarily getting the results that they wanted. And as a result of coming to the academy, now not only do they make an impact, but there's a line of people who are waiting to come and talk to them, and they get additional paid speaking engagements and opportunities as a result of their speaking. Like, if you want to become so much better at being able to share your message, if you want to be able to connect with people, you want to be able to get people to take action, like, you need to, not that you should, you need to come to my Master Storyteller Academy. My next Master Storyteller Academy is going to be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, December 13, 14, and 15. I see some of my past students who are there. So if they could just type that in the comment section for me, December 13, 14, and 15. And then I'm going to go ahead and type in for you where you can go ahead and apply for the Master Storyteller Academy. So let me go ahead and put that for you. Now, let me tell you something right now. I know this is not for everybody. I get that. But this is specifically for those of you who are successful entrepreneurs, successful career people, leaders, speakers, coaches, aspiring speakers and coaches that really want to, Master Storyteller, sorry, I'm talking and typing at the same time, that really want to be able to up-level their game so that they can make more impact and also be able to make more income. Like, if that's you, I'm telling you right now, you want to clear your calendar, do what you have to do, and join us in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and make sure you apply so that someone on my team could talk to you about the Master Storyteller Academy. As soon as you apply, you're going to be prompted to get on the calendar. Someone on my team, they're going to give you all the details. We're going to tell you where the event's being held. We're going to learn a little more about you, make sure you're a good fit. We're going to tell you exactly what we're covering at the event, and we'll tell you exactly what the investment is. We make sure that we actually speak to everyone who's considering coming to the academy, because it is a small, intimate training, and we have limited seats available. And not only do we have limited seats available, but we also want to make sure that you are a right fit, because the results that we've produced has really been a result of getting the right people in the room. And that is specifically somebody who's an entrepreneur, somebody who is a leader, someone who is an influencer, and that they're ready to level up. And so once again, thank you, Glassstein, for putting that down. It's December, I believe it's December 13, 14, and 15 in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. It's a Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, Fort Lauderdale, Florida. But once again, really simple. Just apply at masterstorytelleracademy.com, and someone on our team will give you all of the details. But let me just tell you something right now. I'm just super excited you decided to tune in and join me for tonight's message. I am convinced that whatever it is that you're going after right now, that regardless of how distant it appears, I believe that you are closer than you actually think. And if you could just be willing to stay in the game, continue to do the work, continue to put in the time, continue to keep the main thing, as Stephen Covey would say, you're going to experience an amazing breakthrough, and amazing things are going to happen for you. And so I am just hoping that you're just going to remember this message. The next time that you encounter some frustration, some disappointment, you're thinking about throwing in the towel, I want to just remind you that you're closer than you think, and you just got to stay in the game, baby. Just stay in the game. Hey, listen, everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in and joining me on the Thursday night show for your life motivational live stream. For those of you who are applying for the Master Storyteller Academy, either myself or someone on my team is looking forward to talking to you, and we're absolutely looking forward to you joining us this upcoming December in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Don't forget, if you are not joining the Academy, that's perfectly okay. If you don't think it's time, you haven't applied, make sure you take advantage of my free resource by texting the word "show up" to 954-278-3701. All right, folks, I appreciate you all. Let me give a couple shout outs to a couple people. Hey, Glassstein. Hey, Suzanne. Hey, Tori. Hey, Austin. Hey, Joshua. How you doing? Kino. So good. Sophia. So good to see so many of you. I appreciate you for tuning in. Thank you so much, everybody, for tuning in for tonight's message. Glassstein said, be there or be square. And he's talking about at the Master Storyteller Academy, folks. And so I thank you so much for tuning in. Hey, have a great, great evening. I'll be talking to you soon. God bless.